Good evening. Welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. Okay, it's Wednesday night favorites. So this Wednesday we're doing my top 10 favorite songs by Jethro Tull, a band I love and many albums I've listened to, but just as many I haven't got to yet. So if you're wondering why certain albums aren't represented up here, I just haven't gotten to them yet. I've got about 4 of them in the last 2 or 3 months that I've been listening to a lot, but you can only listen to so many at a time, right? I've got a couple that I haven't even gotten to yet that are on the shelf. So up until about the beginning of this video series that I do, I probably only had about 5 or 6 Tull albums. Aqualung, Songs from the Wood, Minstrels in the Gallery, Crest of a Knave, Thick as a Brick. I think those were the only 5 I had. Yeah, I don't believe I had any. And then recently I've got The Zealot, Gene, Stand Up, Passion Play, War Child, and Benefit. Now, Passion Play and Benefit I haven't listened to very much yet. There's a couple tracks I think on Passion Play that I am familiar with, but I haven't listened to it, so you won't get any representation for it, unfortunately. So basically my dominating top 10 are going to be from the first 5 that I named, because those are the ones I've listened to the most, and then there'll be a sprinkling of others in there from the newer ones. Okay, so let's talk about my top 10, and then I've got a huge list of honorable mentions as well. So I'm going to do it the way I always do it with my top 10 favorites. I go from 10th to 1st. And that doesn't mean that these songs are bad. There's no bad songs in my top 10. These are all good songs, but they had to be rated in some way. So, I mean, like that song that came 10th could have easily came 14th or 15th. There was about 4 or 5 songs vying for that last position. This is one of the tougher ones I had to do because it's just a bewildering amount of music that this band has put out and is still putting out. So anyways, the other thing to note that these are my top 10 favorite songs. They have some emotional impact with me, or they've had some impact somewhere in the past with me and have been given credit on my favorites. Doesn't mean they're the top 10 best Jethro Tull songs. That, of course, is subjective. You know, what might be your top 10 might not have any songs from my top 10 in it. So just keep in mind of that when you're reading it, that you're saying, why did he put this in? Why did he put that in? Well, I didn't put it in because I either haven't listened to it yet, because like I said, there's a lot I haven't, or it just didn't have the same impact on me that it had on you. Okay, so we'll start now. I've done all that qualifying. So coming in at number 10 is Living in the Past from the Living in the Past album. Living in the Past album is a little bit different from some of the other ones because it's a partial compilation album. Has some basically some singles that they put all together on that weren't on previous albums, because back then Jethro Tull had this tendency to put out songs and then put out albums without the songs on it. You know, that's not as common as it the other way around. But anyways, this is the first song. It comes in at number 10. So number 9 is the Songs from the Wood from the same title album, Songs from the Wood. I always liked this song. It's just something about his voice. It's just so making me want to sing all the time. He's like, it's just really, really good, and the lyrics, of course, are fantastic. Number 8 is a relatively newcomer to this list and a relatively newcoming album for me. Yes, I knew the song before, but I hadn't listened to it that often, Now I'm listening to it. It's in my playlist. It's from the Stand Up album. And I'm finding myself singing it all the time, and that's Fat Man. I don't know what it is about this song. I think it's that video I seen with them all sitting together close on stage and playing all their instruments really tightly. I don't know, it's just pretty impressive. So Fat Man in at number 8 from the Stand Up album. Number 7, Velvet Green. When this album, from Songs from the Woods, when this album first came to me and I was listening to it, this was not one of my favorite songs on the album. But it's grown over time to become one of my top favorite songs on this album. I don't know, it's just something about it. Again, to me it's very similar to Songs from the Wood. It's just that, and it's from that same album. It just that has that vocal thing that he does that I really enjoy. Number 6, Summer Day Sands, was a bonus track on the Minstrels in the Gallery album, but it became one of my favorite songs. It's now number 6. Probably could go up even higher. Whenever I listen to Minstrels in the Gallery, which I do periodically, this is always one of my favorite songs to listen to. Number 5 comes from the Aqualung album. You're probably wondering, oh my God, does he have anything from Aqualung on here? Well, I do. Mother Goose. Love this song. Always liked this song. It was always one of my favorites on the album. Now it's my favorite on the album. You won't get anything else from Aqualung on here. I know that's kind of like, wow, but that's the way it is. Number 4 is from the War Child album, but I've known this song for many years. It was probably the first song that I ever liked by Jethro Tull, and that's Bungle in the Jungle. I still like it a lot. It's kind of poppy, but I really like it anyways. So it comes in at number 4. Number 3 is the epic of the same title as the album, Minstrels in the Gallery, an album I love quite a bit. It's one of my favorite Tull albums, and it's coming in at number 3. I just love the pounding guitar and drums on this song are really good, and the guitar is just leading into all these different areas. Oh, just so good. And of course his vocals are fantastic. Then we come to my second favorite song, coming from the Songs in the Wood album, Hunting Girl. This song just crunches along from beginning to end. I love everything about it. I love the lyrics. I love the vocal part done by Anderson. The guitar is off the charts on this song. Barrymore Barlow is just fantastic on the drums on here. Just a killer song. Really love it. And then, of course, my number 1 song, which I've been listening to this song now. I'm thinking the first time I heard this album, I was on a Masters replay. So it was a song that was on a remastered. That's what it was, a remastered album. And I just started listening to the remastered album. It was the album that got me into Tull. It was a collection, and this was the song, was the cream, which rode to the top, and that's Life is a Long Song. I love this song. It's not only my favorite Tull song, it's one of my very favorite songs of all time. It never gets old with me. I find myself singing it all the time, still do. I still love to play it. Sometimes I'll just play that song from the remasters because I don't have the Living in the Past collection, which I want to get, but I haven't gotten it yet. But I love this song so much. So there you have it, my top 10 favorite Jethro Tull songs. And I'll just repeat them from top to bottom and then give you all my honorable mentions too. So we have Life is a Long Song from Living in the Past, Hunting Girl from Songs from the Wood, Minstrel in the Gallery from Minstrel in the Gallery, Bungle in the Jungle from War Child, Mother Goose from Aqualung, Summer Day Sands, the bonus track on Minstrels in the Gallery, Velvet Green from Songs from the Wood, Fat Man from Stand Up, Songs from the Wood from Songs from the Wood, and Living in the Past from Living in the Past. So my honorable mention, I did this in albums. So from Aqualung, Cross-Eyed Mary, of course, great track. Locomotive Breath and Wind Up. Wind Up almost was number 10 song, just barely missed it. I love that song. A song that I've been singing since my daughter was a child. Thick as a Brick, of course, the entire album I love. Thick as a Brick. I like the short version of Thick as a Brick as well. That was the part that I heard the first, but I still love all the album. It's really well put together. From Living in the Past, we have Witch's Broom, another great track. From War Child, the other two I didn't include in my top 10 were Skating Away on the Thin Ice of a New Day and Queen and Country. From Minstrels in the Gallery, we also have Cold Winds of Valhalla, Black Satin Dancer, and the Baker Street Muse. Now, Baker Street Muse was one of the finalists too, just barely squeezed out by Living in the Past as well. And then from Songs from the Wood, Cup of Wonder, which was part of that battle. It was about a 5-way battle for that last spot. From Crest from a Knave, I had quite a few songs I liked, but I only gave Budapest the honorable mention here because it's such a good song. And then from the new album, Zealot Jean, I decided my favorite song on that album is Mrs. Tibbetts. I think this song could end up in my top 10 eventually. It's still fairly new. I've been listening to it about 4 months, but it takes a little bit longer in a list like this to get in there. And Mine is the Mountain, which is another song I really like by them off of that album. So a lot of the other stuff, like from the Horses album and from and from some of the other stuff in the 90s, as well as Long Way to Young Enough to Rock, but I can't remember the name of the title of the album now. Yeah, some of these albums I just haven't listened to enough yet to give it any kind of rating of any kind. So, but anyways, I may come back and do this in a year or so when I've listened to a lot more of this stuff, and a lot of this could change drastically. But right now, these are the songs that I love by Jethro Tull, a band I love quite a bit. One of my now group of 8, which is another announcement. I put Peter Gabriel in that group now, so it's now, instead of a group of 7, it's now a group of 8. My goal was to get a group of 35. So now I have a group of 8. I got a long way to go, but it's getting there. I never thought, this is the first time somebody's been put in that group since, I think probably since Jethro Tull back in 2006 when I put them in the group. Went from a group of 6 to a group of 7. And so it's been like 16 years since I've added a band to it, but there's 2 or 3 more that are on the horizon. Within the next 2 or 3 years, they could all be in there too. And that's a lot of this because of doing this YouTube site has sparked me to keep at it all the time because I enjoy this a lot. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Give me your favorite top 10 Jethro Tulls and let me know what things you like about Jethro Tull. Anyways, you have a good evening. From Prog Monster, goodbye.